Hi, welcome to the Water Wellness Center. Welcome to our water lab. This is where we test water. This is where we educate people about their water. Today what we've got here is we've got 6 samples of different water all throughout the Salt Lake Valley. How we're going to test that water today is we're going to do it with 2 different methods. We've got a light test here. What we have is an open-ended circuit. The dirtier the water, the brighter the light. We also have a total dissolved solid meter here. This measures the amounts of solids that are dissolved in the water, and it'll give us a parts per million. The Environmental Protection Agency states anything less than 10 parts per million is considered to be pure water. Okay, we have our Salt Lake tap water here, which comes from reservoirs. You can see the lights coming on. You see our total dissolved solid reading being over 400 parts per million. We're going to go ahead and clean this off here each time. We have our sandy tap water. We're going to give it a reading here on the total dissolved solid. It's over 400 parts per million. Next, we have our water coming from Riverton City. This water comes from wells. It's running over 800 parts per million. Next, we have the artesian well water from downtown Salt Lake City. This is where many people have gone for years and years to fill up their containers, thinking the water's pristine. But we're showing a reading, a total dissolved running over 800 parts per million. Next, we have local spring water here. We're running roughly over 250 parts per million. And last but not least, we have water coming from the Water Wellness Center. You can see that the light does not come on. That means that water is ultra pure water. We're showing a total dissolved reading of 1 part per million. That's a huge difference. The reason why the light came on in these waters and not the clean water from the Water Wellness Center is because of the journey that all these waters have taken. When you look at the world, water covers approximately 70% of the planet. Only 3% of this water is considered fresh water found in lakes and rivers. Nature provides this water to us by the hydrological cycle. The hydrological cycle is where the journey begins for all water we drink. The sun heats the ocean, turning the water into vapor, where it forms rain clouds. Whenever you take water and change it into vapor and then back into water again, this is called distillation. This is nature's way of cleansing water and air. It is rain and snow that provide all the fresh water that gathers in reservoirs, lakes, rivers, and springs. It is the journey of this rain and snow that begins the evolution of pollution. Humanity has defiled our planet with pollution and dangerous substances, and water has become the victim. Today, pollution coming from factories, refineries, airplanes, automobile emissions all end up in the water we drink. Rain cleanses the air as it falls to the ground. You've probably heard of acid rain. When it reaches the ground, it now comes in contact with ground pollution. It mixes with pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers in our agricultural industries. It mixes with industrial pollutions that leach into groundwaters coming from chemical, mining, and manufacturing industries. In our reservoirs, we have animals that live, die, and decompose in the water. This creates a biological pollution such as E. coli, Giardia, Norwalk virus, Cryptosporidium, and more. These deadly pathogens can be found in many water treatment plants. Water is the source of life. If water becomes too contaminated, all creatures, including the human family, will be denied of their existence. The journey continues as we treat the water for human consumption. Then, in order to make this water, quote, safe to drink, we must put chemicals in the water at the chemical treatment plant. Let's take a look at just a few of the chemicals out of hundreds that they use in the treatment process. Chlorine is used to kill pathogens and bacteria in water. What they don't tell you is that chlorine does not kill algae. When algae and chlorine are combined, trihalomethane gases are released. According to the Harvard Public School of Health, these gases are linked to miscarriages in women, prostate, colon, bladder, kidney, and rectal cancers. That's why this next chemical, called copper sulfate, is added to kill the algae. The problem is that when algae dies from the copper sulfate, it begins to smell. Potassium permanganate is used for odor control. The next chemical that has invaded our water supplies via the misinformed public is fluoride. The fluoride compound that is being added to our drinking water is hydrofluorosilicic acid, a toxic waste byproduct of the phosphate fertilizing industry. To learn the full truth about fluoride, I highly recommend you view the documentary Rethinking Fluoridation, produced by Dr. David Kennedy for the Citizens for Safe Drinking Water in San Diego, California. This documentary can be viewed immediately following this program. Then, the chemically treated water has to travel through miles and miles of dirty pipes. Most people don't even think about the journey their water has taken, nor would they link the water they're drinking to their current health problems. After all, doctors don't focus on where cancer comes from. They're only concerned about treatment. What do the experts have to say about chemicals in tap water? Here is a Utah State government newspaper. See, here's the governor's seal. This article, titled "Making Our Water Safe to Drink," was an interview with Eva Neminsky, who has a PhD in environmental engineering, and she consults with all 50 water treatment plants in the state of Utah. She states, "We are learning about very resistant pathogens in water. They are very difficult to kill, so you need strong disinfectants. These chemicals may ultimately cause cancer over a lifetime. So the question becomes, would you rather have diarrhea today or cancer over a 70-year period?" That's the definition of safe drinking water. Folks, we live in a chemical society. There are thousands of chemicals that have been found in tap water alone in the U.S. In 1903, we had only 3 out of 100 people dying of cancer. Now, 100 years later, in 80,000 commercially produced chemicals, 1 in 4 people die from cancer and 1 in 3 get cancer. We have chemicals in our food, we wash our clothes in chemicals, we bathe in chemicals. We are a chemical society. The only thing that is going to take the chemicals out of our bodies is the water we drink. And if the water we drink is not clean to begin with, we have a problem.